Hey guys, Brian here with Forest to Farm Project. Today we're going to be checking out the Rogan USA Gen 4 mutt. One group this mutt really appeals to is people who are out relic and coin hunting using metal detectors. Dad and I have done it for years. He got me into it 25 years ago when I was a kid, and it's a good time going out finding stuff. Where we live has a lot of Revolutionary and Civil War history, and there's all kinds of relics around here. Dad's found old powder keg rings, bullets, old knives, just you name it, all kinds of neat stuff, and it's a good day or a good weekend getting out wandering through the woods metal detecting. But this thing has everything you need when you're out there doing it. We've used old screwdrivers, old military knives, you name it to dig in the dirt. Knife blades chip and break and then the knife's ruined. Screwdrivers aren't the best and you can't really pry with them very well. With this, it has a beveled edge on the long edge and on the tip, so you can chisel if you need to, you can beat on the back of this thing, you can chop into whatever you need to, you're not going to damage it. I mean, if I do put a burr on this, or when I do, I can take a file or a side grinder to it, knock that burr off, and it's right back good as new. If you run into a root when you're digging a hole, it's got the saw back, you flip it over, go to sawing, and it tears the roots up very quickly. It's really a well-designed tool. And then you can also get a sheath for it, which allows you to throw it on your belt, obviously, and it's about 10 inches long, so it's perfect size for carrying around. It's not going to get in the way, it's not too big, and feels good in the hand. It's a really well-designed tool, well thought out. It's really just a general purpose beater bar with a saw on the back. It works great. I mean, you can bust up pallets or any rough use application where you don't want to damage a knife or some other tool. You grab this, you're pretty much good to go. Aside from those uses, one thing that really came to mind when I saw it is bushcraft. A lot of you have heard us talk about it on the channel. We love getting out in the woods, practicing bushcraft and wilderness survival. And when I saw this, I instantly thought, I no longer have to worry about damaging my knife blade when I'm batoning wood because I can use this and save this. I've always worried, and I've actually had a few chip on me with cheaper knives. When you're beating a knife through a tree or through a log that has limbs or whatever, if there's rocks and grit and whatnot in it, you're going to dull your blade, you risk chipping it, you risk rolling it. It's not worth destroying an expensive knife when you can have something like this and just beat the fool out of it and not have to worry about it. As I mentioned, this thing's going to be great for batoning when all you've got is larger stock to start a fire and you're not fortunate enough to have a lot of small dead stuff. So I've got a nice piece of oak here. It's about 2.5 inches in diameter, and as you can see, it goes right through it like butter. So as you guys can see, process that really well. I mean, do it all day long. It's no problem at all. And it'll save you if you're not wanting to have to carry a hatchet along. This is definitely a lot more compact, a lot lighter weight than a hatchet, and it gets the job done really well. But now I'm going to show you a really cool use for it. When I saw that it was a good tool for digging, it instantly came to mind that I love Dakota fire holes. They're a very efficient way to have a fire, especially if it's windy like it is today. You guys can't really tell, but outside of the woods it's very windy. And wind is one of the biggest detriments to a fire when you're trying to cook over it, or you don't want to have to worry about embers blowing away and burning the forest down. So a Dakota fire hole is a very efficient and secure way to build a fire. And let me show you how to do that. So a Dakota fire hole is much like a rocket stove, but in the ground. You dig 2 holes around 10 to 16 inches deep and really no more than 10, 12 inches wide. And you'd build one at a slight angle, dig them within a foot of each other, and then dig a tunnel between them down at the bottom. And when you do that, it causes a nice draft, sucks the air up through the fire, and it's really efficient because it's superheating everything in there, burning it very quickly and burning it very hot. So you don't have to worry about smoke near as much, embers floating away because it's burning most of that up down in the fire hole. Additionally, one really nice aspect of the Dakota fire hole is that when you're done burning, you put your fire out with water, and then you can take all the dirt you dug out and fill the hole in. All right, let's get to digging these holes. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. It's wonderful, 85 degrees and kind of muggy in South Carolina, so I'm gonna look a little different when I get done. I'm probably gonna be pretty sweaty. Let's have some fun. As you guys can see, we got a nice hot fire going here, and once it dies down some and you get some good meat at the bottom to burn, then you can stack rocks slightly around the edges overhanging where you can set a pot directly over the center. All that heat is going to go directly into the bottom of your pot and be much more efficient than a fire burnt on open ground out on a windy day. This hole sucks air in and helps feed the fire from the base, and it breathes up through, creates a very efficient hot burning fire, and it works really well. Without this, it would have been about impossible to dig a hole. I would have been breaking a lot of sticks using a digging stick, and it would have been a nightmare. I mean, this clay is hard as a rock. It's awful. Any of you guys that have, you know, that much topsoil, you're really lucky. Here in South Carolina, we've got red clay. And it's a nightmare to dig in. It's a nightmare to work with. It's just all around no fun, but this made it a lot easier for sure. Got a lot of plans for this in the future to show you guys a lot of different ways to use it and how versatile it is. But just wanted to show you a couple options here today. Hope you enjoyed it. It's always fun getting out in the woods making a fire. It's relaxing, and even though it looked like a lot of exertion, it's still relaxing to get out here and be in nature. There's nothing like it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good one. Check back often.